equations class. Yesterday we were talking about radical expressions. What is the difference between an expression and an equation? It is the equal sign. An expression doesn't necessarily have an equal sign, while an equation needs to have an equal sign. When we have an equation, we can find the value of our variables. When we have an expression, we can't. Now, a radical equation is an equation that contains at least one radical. What are the steps to solving these radical equations? Well, we need to first isolate the part that has the radical. How do we isolate this radical that is adding an 8? By subtracting an 8. We would have the square root of x minus 3 equals 4 minus 8. The next step would be to solve this. Four minus 8 equals -4. And now, how do we remove this radical from the equation? By elevating everything to the second power. Remember, we have to do it on both sides of the equation. The square of any square roots is the number or the expression that is inside. The square of the square root of x minus 3 is x minus 3. Now, -4 squared, how much is it? It's positive 16. Then we solve the resulting equation that we have. X equals 16 plus 3, x equals 19. Now, the next step is that we have to check the solution in the original equation. And in these cases, it is very important that we check the solution. Why? Because we may have extraneous solutions. That means that even though all of our steps are correct, the x doesn't make that the equation is true. Let's see if this is the case. We have 8 plus the square root of x, which is 19, minus 3 equals 4. 8 plus the square root of 19 minus 3 equals 16, and this is 4. 8 plus 4 equals 4. 8 plus 4 equals 16. Is 16 4? No, it's not. So we have an extraneous solution. Since the solution we got is an extraneous solution, the real answer is that there is no solution for this example. Our second example is already isolated, so we are going to skip the first step because it's already done. What do we do to remove the square root is elevate to the second power. We have 2x plus 5 equals 8 squared is 64. And we solve the equation. 2x equals 64 minus 5. 2x equals 59. X equals 59 divided by 2, x equals 29.5. Now let's check if the solution is true. We have the square root of 2 times x, which is 29.5, plus 5 equals 8. The square root of 2 times 29.5 is 59, plus 5 equals 8. The square root of 59 plus 5 is equal to 8. The square root of 64 is 8, equal to 8. This is true, meaning that x equals 29.5. It's a true answer. Now, example number 3 says 10 minus 2 times the square root of x equals 0. Let's solve it. We have minus 2, the square root of x equals 10. Negative 10. Why? Because we have positive 10. We subtract it from the other side. We have 0 minus 10 equals negative 10. Now we divide both sides of the equation by 2. Negative, it has to include the sign. We get the square root of x equals positive 5. Why? Because negative divided by negative equals positive. We elevate to the second power to remove the square root, and we have x equals 25. Now let's check the solution in the original equation. We have 10 minus 2 square root of x, which is 25, equals 0. 10 minus 2 times, what is the square root of 25? 5, equals 0. 10 minus 2 times 5 is 10, equals 0. 10 minus 10 equals 0. So our answer is correct, meaning that x equals 25 is a true answer. And knowing that, you can solve the exercises in the next slide of your presentation. That's it for today. If you have any questions, don't forget to log in for the Facebook Live Q&A. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.